Good Tuesday morning. It is time again for an After the Sermon. This past week, we were in John chapter 6, where Jesus feeds the 5,000. And it's always interesting when you talk about Jesus feeding the 5,000 because the gospel writers say that he fed 5,000 men. And so we also have to take into account how many women were there and how many children were there as well. Some estimates that I have seen say that there was possibly as many as 20,000 people there that day that Jesus fed them with a small lunch, the 5 loaves of barley bread and the 2 small fish as well. And when we think about that, how much food would that have taken for them? Here at Southside, every week on Tuesday and Saturday, we have a food pantry that people come to, and this is actually a picture of what it looked like this morning, about an hour ago, out in the parking lot. And here recently, at least, the pantry has been feeding or giving food to about 250 families just about every day that it has been open. And my understanding is that on average, that there's probably a family of 4 for those. So every day that the pantry is open, they are roughly giving out or feeding 1,000 people. And so doing that twice a week, so you think about 2,000 people a week. But when we give food to these people, there's enough food in there for 3 meals. And of course, this happens, roughly about 4 times a month. And so when you add all those numbers together, it's roughly about 24,000 meals that is provided for people every month. And when we think about that and Jesus feeding 20,000 people at once, that's an incredible amount of food that Jesus provided for these people. I want us to notice in John chapter 6, verse 11, it says, Jesus then took the loaves, and when he had given thanks, he distributed them to those who were seated. So also the fish, as much as they wanted. It wasn't that they just had a very little bit. It wasn't that they just had a taste of something, but they were able to have as much as they wanted. And I can only imagine that this was probably some of the best fish that they had ever had, and probably some of the best bread that they have ever had as well. And not only that, but when they were done, there were 12 basketfuls that were picked up as well. So Jesus abundantly provided for this group of people that was there that day. Doesn't Jesus do that for us as well? Isn't that what he does for us? When he does something, he provides all that is needed and sometimes more as well, just like he did for those people that were there that day when he fed what we say the 5,000. I hope and pray that you're having a great week. May God bless you in incredible ways. Remember that God loves you, and so do I. And God willing, we'll be back with you next week. God bless.